Hello, everyone. It's that time again for your holistic hour. Yes, your dose of medicine for the week, where you allow yourself to fully immerse yourself in this hour. It's like your weekly pampering session, where you take yourself into this treatment room and you get this holistic treatment. Your body and your mind and your spirit are all engaged, energized, uplifted. You just completely feel rejuvenated, revived. You have clarity. It goes on and on and on. You decide how you feel once you've had this holistic hour injection. So all you need to do is tune in, stay tuned, and literally just connect every part of you to the show. There will be a segment of meditation or mindfulness at the end where we just really allow ourselves to go inside and just be and just allow something the body hardly gets to do. Our minds are just distracted every day on chores and errands and people and conversations and work, and the list goes on. So this is your time to let your body shine. So what do we have in store today? This week's show, we are focusing on the work-life balance. I'm sure all of us have been there where we have been challenged with just trying to keep ourselves balanced, committing to a job, going to work, ensuring that you're being productive and you're putting everything you can do to your job. However, you still need a life, right? You still need a social life, you still need a family life, and time to just do you, be you, and not feel guilty about it. I know a lot of people really do feel guilty to just take a break, take a rest for themselves. Just allow themselves to be. And when you think about it, you really need to reward yourself every now and then with those little breaks, those rests, pamper treatments, holistic hour, whatever it is, because there has to be a balance. In order for you to now give the output and to keep on going and keep on giving, you need to be able to rest so you can rejuvenate, revive, and put some of that back into you so that you have more to put out. Have to take care of you first, because as we know, if you don't, who else will? So sometimes these moments allow us to just reflect and think about, are we doing the right thing? Are we spending the right energy in the right places? I remember when I was working in Canary Wharf in London, and I looked around me one day when I was commuting to work, and I saw myself amongst these sea of people. All of us wearing suits, racing around, trying to get to work for 9 o'clock. And I was like, wow, I have become one of these people. This is not what I want. This is not what I expect. And we just seem like we don't have any life. Everybody's doing the same thing, running to the same agenda. Everyone looks the same, feels the same. It was just not the world that I wanted to live. And I had to dig deep and ask myself a lot of questions and spend some alone time to really figure out what those answers were. And I did come to a conclusion that there is more to life than work. There is so much more to give to yourself than just a lunch break, than a weekend break, than counting down the days until you get your vacation from work. Every day you wake up should be fulfilled. It should be on a basis of you doing what you love, and you love what you do, and you really feel that every single day when you get up to go to work. Even if you're working for someone, it doesn't have to mean that you're an independent worker and you're running your own business. That might not be your desire, but you should wake up feeling alive and ready for the day, for what you have to give. That's just the basis, the foundation of everything that we produce thereafter. So I must say, since making that move, and not only just leaving the rat race because of that crazy world I was caught up in, but deciding to live the best life I can in the best environment that I can. And that place is here. Yes, it is. I decided to come and migrate to Jamaica and live and build the lifestyle that I always desired for a long, long time. This is what I desired. And it is just a completely different way of life. And it's hard to explain. You just have to experience it. Waking up and even going to work here in the tropics in Jamaica is such a different experience to working anywhere in England. It's just a different feeling. And when you're so fulfilled internally, I mean, even when the days aren't so great or things aren't going your way, underneath it all, that foundation is just still built of so much joy. There's so much inner peace and happiness. There's so many other elements that make you happy and are fulfilled that everything else you can figure out and you can work it out. So I encourage you to really think about where you are, what you're doing. Think about the job that you're doing. Is it fulfilling? And just dig a bit deeper. Find out, if you can't even answer those questions right now, find out whether you need to just spend some time with yourself, getting to know yourself from inside out, and taking yourself on that journey of self-discovery. It's a very rewarding one. It's not an overnight process. It's a journey of its own. Take that journey and see where it takes you, because life is just full of so much waiting for you on the other side when you approach it from a place of inner peace and just knowing who you really are and everything that you want from this life. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And with that, everything that you have to give, it just feels different to others. It feels different to you. It looks different because you are shining. You are vibrating on a higher level spiritually, and it can be seen from a mile away. That inner joy, that inner peace is just luminous. It can't be hidden. It's luminous. So take yourself on that journey. So this show we're going to be speaking to Jermaine Reed. He is currently living in Jamaica and he has a lot to tell us about managing his work and life. So let's tune in and hear what he's got to say. Jermaine Reed, what's your lifestyle? What do you like? Tell us. Share your story.
Well,
What's going
my
on?
lifestyle. Where to begin?
I let you
Well,
decide that one.
yes. So I am by profession. I'm a
Mm,
qualified attorney at law, called to the Jamaican Bar in 2013.
okay.
I don't just like to define myself though as a lawyer. I think of myself as a individual who is quite rounded, try to enjoy everything that life has to offer.
Right.
So that means nature, music, culture. So I just
Mm-hmm.
try to be very rounded and be aware of the world around me and not just be stuck in one little zone or in my little bubble, and try to just live a life where you appreciate everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really my thing. So with doing that, I try to have a balanced life. I try to put my work life, of course, is priority, but then also my family life, my home life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying social time, all of those things. I try to find a balance with everything I do. So I don't want to just be defined as one thing, Jermaine Reed, the attorney at law. But my lecturer always said to us when I was in law school, I'm not defined by my profession.
Great.
I'm defined by the person I am.
Exactly.
I'm Jermaine Reed, and I just happen to be
Mm-hmm.
an attorney at law.
Yeah.
So it's that's how I try to live my life. That try not to make any one thing define me.
I love it. I totally agree and with you 100% on that one. It's so important because a lot of people get caught up in like what they do, their profession, and they define
Yeah.
themselves by that and they live their life by that. And I think this time that we're in, a lot of people realize, actually, I need to look at myself from a different perspective. Who am I? Because now they're not able to do the thing that they put
Exactly.
that value in, and it's a shock to the system for a lot. But I love that. It's there's so much more to enjoy, and you do something, but you're also a person, a being behind that.
Yes.
Cool. So about this lifestyle, balancing is really, really key. You mentioned the main element: work, family, social. How do you find balance in that? Isn't it an ongoing process, or you think you're managing quite well, keeping them all aligned?
No, it's an ongoing process. I don't think you'll ever be able to say I have it
Mm.
locked, but you try the best that you can. So
Mm-hmm.
you try to have cut off times. For me, that's what I try to have, cut off times of when certain things begin.
Right.
So for example, work for me starts 8:15. So between the hours of 8:15 to 4 o'clock is the time that my office operates. So I try to have that. I work from, sometimes I start earlier, but I like to cut off at 4 because I realize that by the time 4 o'clock comes, my brain begins to decline.
Mm-hmm.
So I rather to sometimes wake up earlier in the morning and begin the work day. Sometimes I reach into work from before 8:15 to try and have my work day ended for 4, because for most times, well, before all of this whole corona, I was in the gym by 4:35. So it takes me about half an hour to 40 minutes to go from my workplace to my gym.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was my balance. And even in doing that, sometimes, yes, you have so much work and it goes over. But what I try to do was still maintain that balance by still having my gym time. So yes, I may have worked a little either. I might cut off at 4 if I realize that this is something I will not be able to finish for now. And it may take me another 2, 3 more hours to do. I might say, you know what, that's it. I'll cut off here and I'll go to the gym for 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably do my workout, 2 hours or so, finish, come home, relax for a little, and then get back into work probably around 8, 9 o'clock and work then through the night. So that's where I try to find a balance. So I enjoy going to the gym. So it's something that relieves you and
Yes.
distracts you from the work.
Yeah,
I enjoy my
exactly.
job, don't get me wrong. But on
Mm-hmm.
the other hand, you need other things to relieve you. And sometimes even during the course of the day, just to refresh your own
Yeah.
brain and perform well, you have to take a break. And when I say a break, I don't mean a 15, 20 minutes break, like a 2, 3 hour break from doing that
Mm-hmm.
activity. So when you go back, you're fresh and rejuvenated. So that's why I try to find my balance, especially when you have a pressure in job, but
Mm.
you don't have a choice. As I said, my most important client is myself. If
Yes.
I am not here, I can't serve anybody else. I
Love
can't serve
that. That's
my,
so
my
important.
company that I am employed to. I can't serve anybody else. I can't do anything for anybody if I'm no longer here. So I have to look after me.
You. And it's not selfish, it's vital, right? There's a lot of people listening right now,
Exactly.
those at work, who are really struggling with this topic, because it's a challenge. It really is, when you're in control to a point, but you work for somebody. And sometimes you might not be in that level in terms of your position to be that flexible. So I think
Yes.
there's different levels to it. Like, what can you control? And I remember struggling when I was living in the UK, and that was one of the biggest issues for me, conforming to that world of work, that pressure, and not having any quality of life, and letting it seep into every aspect of your life. Your social, you take it home. But people listening out there, I think it's about focusing on what you can control. You can control, I believe, taking that break from your desk when you can. Communicate to your team. You are vital to this project. And just like you said, if you don't look after yourself, then it's not going to have a positive effect on the whole outcome. And
Yeah,
try to leave work at a certain time, and just tell them that you have an appointment. Don't say anything,
exactly.
but let them know that you have that regular schedule, because you have to put your foot down somewhere. You're still productive, but you have to put your foot down and focus on what's good for your health and your well-being.
Exactly. Because if you do, you have to set the boundaries.
Mm,
If you do not set the boundaries, people will set them for you.
very
And
true.
then you might not be happy with the boundaries that they have set. So you have to stand up. I mean, you don't have to be rude, but you
Mm,
just have to let people know, no, I'm not. I cannot do it. I will have it done, but it cannot be done right now.
Mm-hmm.
You will get it, but not this minute.
Right.
Unless it's something that is really, really urgent that needs to be done, maybe if you have something due, and I can understand. But for somebody to be constantly every day telling you this has to be, no. After you have to draw the line and make them know, no,
Mm-hmm.
I need my time as well.
Right. I remember, oh gosh, just as you're saying that, I remember being in the UK, right? And you're sitting at the desk and you have, you know, your email notifications. And it's like the reaction that you get with every email that comes through and the pressure that I felt to
Yes,
respond and to have to like, to deal with that particular thing. So imagine every email that's coming in is distracting me from what I'm currently focusing on. I feel I have to respond because that's the culture that they've, you know, taught you to, you know, be on your toes, and you feel like you have someone on your back and you must. But then where does it stop? And then you have this
yes,
device you take home, it beeps, you respond, you react. There's, you know, there's no separation. And then it's just this complete takeover. And I say used to because I do not live that life anymore. I chose not to. And I chose to focus on having something more on my terms. And I see it from a different perspective now. You could live your life literally responding and reacting to every email, to everything life throws at you. But ask yourself that question in the moment. Is this vital to this second, this moment right now? You know, does this person need me to respond on this? Do I need to action it urgently? And if no, you can just respond to let them know you've received it, acknowledge it. But
that's what I'm about to say, yes.
yeah, you need to function.
Exactly, I agree with you because it happens in all, and especially those of us who work in corporate.
Oh
You
gosh.
feel this immense pressure
Mm-hmm.
to constantly be responding to emails, to be at the various meetings, to get everything done. And eventually you begin to realize that it starts to run you down.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point now where I just say, if I'm doing one thing, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing that thing and I'm working on it, and I'm not jumping to check the email. Sometimes I purposely delay checking the email
Mm-hmm.
just so I don't have to have that coming into my head of something, a whole new challenge. Because I know almost every time an hour or two passes, a new email comes in and it's a whole new challenge that you'll now have to deal with.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you know you're working on a particular thing, I just sit down and I just dedicate, whether
Mm-hmm.
it is I said I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do the next 2 hours trying to work on this. Then maybe after the 2 hours, I'll take a check of the email and I'll just acknowledge receipt of it,
Right.
acknowledge, we'll deal with this in due course. So
Mm-hmm.
you've not given a deadline. And then maybe once you're finished with that one, you can try and move on. Sometimes it is juggling though, because you have 2 or 3 things that you have to be doing at
Mm-hmm.
one time. But I try not to do more than that because you will end up ruining yourself. And then they don't
Mm-hmm.
get the best out, then they don't get the good productivity.
Oh
And then
no.
they're the same ones, if you do not give them quality work, they're
Mm-hmm.
the same ones that will turn on and complain.
All right.
So you have to balance it as well and say, no, but if you want me to give you quality work, you have to give me the time.
Absolutely.
Understand that I need the time to do my research and all
It-
of that. And if you're, for those of us who have teams,
Mhm.
we have to bear in mind that our team needs the time as well, because we are going to be pushing them under pressure. They have to get the work done properly, or else we are going to get upset with them. So everybody, we all have to be, I think it's learning how to coexist with each other. That is for me,
Mhm.
that is the greatest thing that we need to learn as people. Coexisting and realizing that each person is an individual and respecting their individual space and giving them time
Mhm.
to do their thing in their time, and of course a timely manner, yes, but giving them time to do it properly. And that's what I realize, a lot of people don't seem to understand, that everybody needs time to do this work properly.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And I think what's really missing in, especially in the corporate world, is the understanding that your employees are your biggest assets. Because you know they're
Exactly.
driving a business. I don't care what level you're on. Every single
Hmm.
employee is an asset. So just like they need
From the
servicing,
janitor right the way up.
all the way up. They need servicing too, just like your AC
Hmm.
unit, just like your vehicles,
Exactly.
you know, just like your properties. They need servicing in order to perform effectively. And
Yes.
you know, the holistic approach in terms of taking charge of their mental state, ensuring that they get regular breaks and proper nutrition, giving them that space, that time, and allowance to do that, and not make them feel bad for taking a lunch break, and even
Yes.
offering them an opportunity to do things that will improve their health and well-being. So it's really key, and I think communication is key. That it's communicated to team members, in fact, from right from the top going down, and from there going up, that health is important, my well-being is important. So please understand that just as my work is important to me, my health is always also important, and I need to merge the two and find a balance in order for me to work effectively. So I think it's good to communicate to like team members when you decide, you know what, this is a change. Some people are scared because they've got into such a routine of not taking their lunch breaks. And now to implement it, it's going to look like, well, but communicate, tell them the reason why. Not, you don't have to go into detail, but I think if you explained, you know what, I've come to a decision that this wasn't working, I need to improve my health, and therefore. And I think people will become sort of less reluctant and understanding, and it may make them also question their lifestyle, their work habits, and maybe, you're right. I should take that little morning walk. I should take a regular break from my desk, and then they're less likely to kind of penalize, the other person for doing the same. So I think communication is really key, letting people understand the bigger picture without having
Yeah.
to go into too much detail, but let them know the purpose behind it and the reason why it's also going to assist them in the workplace.
Yes. And I mean, I'm a believer that left to me, workplaces would have a gym or some form of exercise. So even just a room where you can just go and do some form of stress relieving.
Right.
I really believe that that would help a lot,
Mm.
especially those of us, I mean, especially in the corporate world. I mean, I applaud those companies that have a gym
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. I think it's very good for the workers and for everybody to just have a space where they
Mm-hmm.
can just go and just relieve themselves of the pressure
Right.
during the workday.
Yeah. Totally. And, a lot of people focus on just the physical side, just the diet,
Mm,
the exercise, yeah, having the gym. Yeah, great. But that's one aspect. And the mental
yes,
side to it, like, the mental balance and just to have that quiet space, it is really, really, really important as well, just as important. So that's a great idea. I could come and do some, holistic hour sessions, meditation.
exactly. Lunch hour meditation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Much needed. Um, so what about those people who don't feel like they have a voice and they're just told, you know what, come to work, get your pay, and go home?
And that is true. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people are being pressured.
Mm,
And the best that they can do, having also been in that situation, is just do your best,
mm,
but equally try and ensure that you find your balance. What makes you happy?
mm,
What makes you tick? If it's doing your gym, find a time that is suitable. I know some people, some bosses are extremely rigid and they're not flexible. So if it means that the weekends is your time, maybe you just have to use the weekend. If it means that anyway get up earlier in the morning and maybe you can do your meditation before work starts,
right.
maybe that's what will prepare you and help you get through that very stressful day. And there's nothing wrong with looking. While you're in one job, you can be looking, because if you realize that something is not working out for you,
Mm-hmm.
you have to realize that at the end of the day, you come first. I was working once at a place, and I realized that it was deteriorating. My health began to deteriorate, and I realized that both mentally and physically, I just was not feeling myself anymore. And I had to take the decision of making a move. The move I made actually ended up being less pay, but I ended up being happier, and I
Mm,
made even better contacts from that new job. So much so that the contacts I made were able to propel me into my next position that I went to. So the pay was a decrease, but on the other hand, I got so much more from that new job that for me, getting the less pay was actually not as bad as
mm-hmm.
this as I was expecting, because I was so much happier. The work environment was good. The network I was making was good. So you felt, I actually was excited at that point to now begin going to work.
Right.
Where I was before thinking, oh God, these people, I have to go to this I
Yeah.
was referring to the place as a plantation.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
And that's not good. When you begin
Mhm.
referring to where you work as a plantation, there's a very big
Very
problem.
bad, big problem. You're waking up a slave to the system every day. Wow. What you just said resonates with me so much because that's exactly how I used to feel. It was such a
Mhm.
struggle. And I decided, obviously coming to a different culture, different economy, I should say, from the UK to Jamaica. And that was a drastic pay cut. But my well-being, my state of mind, just the environment, the natural aspects of just me functioning and thriving mentally, physically, everything was just so much more than money can buy, or you can put a figure to it. So it's
Exactly.
really looking at what's important to you, but not only that, what is vital for you, because there's certain things we need, not just want, that we need to survive and
Hmm.
thrive, and certain things and environment, culture is just going to keep you stagnant and unhealthy, you know,
Yes.
totally unhealthy. You could be thriving with your bank account and your investments, but what about your health? You know.
Exactly. And a lot of people neglect that. They
Mm.
think that once they have money, that is it.
Hmm.
But it needs to be a balance.
That's right. That's right. So glad that you did that, though. You made that move. You decided,
Yes.
I'm going to take
And it
control.
wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I
No.
had people who were actually not amused that I did it.
Oh
Persons
wow.
who I thought would have supported me were
Hmm.
not amused. Friends, family members who were not amused that
Hmm.
I could make such a move. But I mean, in the end, I feel happier for doing it.
Hmm.
And I think everybody now realized it all worked out.
Mm.
At the end of the day, it worked out.
The thing is, even
But
if it
I knew I
didn't,
couldn't stay there. It
right?
wasn't them that was going into the job every day, it was me.
You,
And I
yeah,
knew I couldn't do it anymore.
right. The key thing is about focusing on you as an individual. Especially if something's making you unhappy, even if it didn't work out, it doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't have done that, because you were
Exactly.
following, your inner intuition. Like something was calling you, telling you this wasn't for me. So you now need to action that. Otherwise, you literally are torturing yourself. Um, that's going to
Yes.
like raise some flags with a lot of people, because that's their struggle now, and some people are afraid and fearful
Yes,
of
it is.
that response from family. It's amazing how much power we give to other people. um I know it's easily
Yes.
said than
Our
done,
lives
but
is really controlled by other people.
oh gosh, dictating our actions. And you might say, no, 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 they don't, I'm in control. But deep down inside, a lot of people are not making those decisions because of family, peers, friends, networks, you know, society. But what do you want? So it's a choice. You either decide to sacrifice that inner desire, or you conform to society, to your groups, other people, and you live with that decision, and whatever makes you happy. But you're either masking your happiness, or you're literally going to dig deep and just pursue, regardless of what anybody else thinks, knowing that you're doing this for yourself. And it doesn't mean you can't make other people happy or still relate to them and be in communication with them. But I think a lot of people are looking back and have made decisions against their grain and regretting it. How does one build that? They've built their life. How do they now build that courage, I guess, to kind of, after so many years of either conforming or going with the flow of their life, and they realize, you know what, 20 years later, whatever time it may be, how do they now find that strength to say, you know what, I deserve this, and this is what I want. How do I now make that action? How do I implement that in my life?
Well, change is something that happens, what you do, little things over time or every day. So it's something that you yourself would now have to begin to implement in the way you have people treat you. Things that you probably were putting up with before, you start saying, no,
Mm.
And if you realize that it's something that you didn't like from day one, you can now make people know that, you know what, actually, no, I don't. No, I do not like um, when you come and force and beg me to do something that makes me uncomfortable. And I've done it, and you can account of the times you have done it before, and that this is it. You will not be doing it again, or you're done. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
Equally, you can take a much more passive approach where you just decide that you're not doing something and you just have to focus on yourself. At the
Right.
end of the day, yes, it takes guts.
Right.
It does. There's no getting around that. It takes guts to stand up to people, especially the hardest people to stand up to are the people we care the most about.
Yeah.
So they're the hardest because we don't want to disappoint them.
Right.
But equally, we have to look at our own self and our own well-being. And sometimes it might mean having a serious conversation with those we love and telling them, this is really how I feel. Because sometimes people don't realize how
No,
you're feeling
that's so true.
because they're so caught up either in their feelings
Mm.
or just want to get things done that they don't realize how much something is implicating you.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it takes talking to people and making them know, I don't like this and I'm making a change.
Right. And I guess, like I said
You
before,
can,
communication is key.
yes,
Sometimes they don't know because you just haven't mentioned it or expressed it.
exactly. And you'd be surprised that maybe when you talk to the person might actually be in agreement with you. The
Mm-hmm.
person might even give you examples of them doing things that you didn't even realize
Right.
in their life where they've had to put their foot down. In my opinion, if somebody really loves you and care for you, once you decide that you're doing something that is not harmful to
Right.
yourself or
Or
to them,
others. Yeah, exactly.
exactly, or to others,
Mm-hmm.
they would support you. Once you said to them, you know, this is how I feel. I genuinely do not like this anymore. It is really something, or something I've just never liked from before, but I
Mm-hmm.
just kept doing it, and now I realize that I cannot do it anymore.
Right.
If the person is genuine, then you will find it much easier. I've come to realize that when people aren't genuine, you will eventually find out
Oh, yeah. Truth will
because
be
they
revealed.
just once they can no longer use you, the friendship now comes to an end. So you
Mm.
realize it wasn't really a friendship;
Mm,
it was
right.
using, and as such, they can no longer use it. So they've just moved on to the next victim, and you'd be surprised to find that sooner or later, yeah, they've moved on to Jim Brown
Mm-hmm.
or Mary Jane, and they're doing the same thing that they were doing to you, to
Mm-hmm.
that person. So you realize that, oh, so I was really being used, and you're glad that you emancipated yourself.
Right. I tell you, and you know, you've used this example in terms of on a personal level, but this happens a lot in the workplace. People
Yes,
are being used for with their work. You might be getting compensated for your job, but you're getting sucked out so dry that you feel
mm-hmm.
that you are literally being used because they're not reciprocating your value in any other way. And sometimes you're not even getting compensated on the level that you should be. So hence the reason why you need to invest in you and do the
Exactly,
work to ensure that you're looked after, because at the drop of a hat, you know, that person could say, look, I'm done with you, I've had enough, you've got all I need from you, here's somebody else. And then what do? You don't want
exactly.
to crumble. But I think the biggest conversation that we need to be having is the one with ourselves.
Excellent. Yes, I
Go
agree with you.
deep inside, who am I, what do I like to do, you know, um, what do I need to change? And I think when that empowerment comes from inside and you realize, you know, exactly what you want, focus on the purpose and just let that be the fire inside you to remind you when you do have these challenging times and people are trying to either deter you or make it really difficult for you to now succeed with executing that, you can say no. Inside, this is what I need to do. This is about my happiness, my joy, my life.
Yes,
I've got to live it on my terms because this life was given to me. So that's the
I
biggest
agree.
conversation that a lot of us need to have and continue to have, because we need that self-empowerment every single day.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
Great. So let's hope we've empowered some people to think
I
about
hope so.
those
I
choices, you
really
know.
hope we'll empower somebody to just make them
Yeah,
change, even if just a small change,
that's
because
it.
it's small things over a little time.
Exactly. lead to the big
Lead
success.
to the big
Baby
changes.
steps to success, I call it.
Mhm.
Totally. Great, Jermaine. So you're working today?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you're working on your terms. You're going to implement some breaks, have a good lunch.
Of course.
Uh-huh. You've got your
Yeah.
exercise in already this morning?
Yeah. I
Wow.
did a little morning exercise and then I'm going to do my intense exercise at
Mhm.
my same regular 5 o'clock time.
Okay. Great. So keeping
So
things balanced as much as you can.
I've also come to realize that in this corona time working from home, it's actually, for me, it's actually worse than being in the office. 'Cause at least
See?
when you were in the office, people knew it was between the hours of 8
Mm.
to 4:30 that it was office hours. Now I'm getting emails like way down later in the night. But I've come to realize is not everybody's working at the same time, because some
Mm-hmm.
persons, you send them an email earlier and you don't get a response till later in the evening because their timing is a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying, okay, well, I'm just going to do what I can do within my time frame.
Right.
And you have to then just have a cutoff point and say, no, I'm cutting off here. It's now my time.
Right.
Because the thing with working from home, I mean, everybody's applauding it and everything, but it's actually harder to strike the balance, I've come to realize. I've,
Because you work around the
I,
clock, literally. There's no way to.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really been a big fan of working from home to begin with. I've always enjoyed having going to work, interacting with people at work, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So for me, working from home is a bit of a challenge that I myself have to be adjusting to. And one of the challenges I've come to realize I have to adjust to is realizing that there's a cutoff time now. This is it. I'm done. Because sometimes you get so caught up in the work and doing what you're doing that 4 o'clock comes and goes and you realize it's 5:30 and you're still sitting down working on a project. Had you been in office, you'd have said, okay, this is it. I'll continue with this tomorrow. But because you're at home in a relaxed environment, you end up sometimes doing even more work than had you been in the office.
Gosh, another set of trying to strike the balance.
Exactly. So then you realize, no, 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 no. And then it's for me, harder to motivate yourself because I'm used to going to the gym. Now the gyms are
Yes.
closed, so you have to do it at home.
Oh, yes.
So then you have to find creative ways, either YouTube videos. A couple of my friends, we meet up and we do Zoom, a Zoom workout.
Oh,
So
cool.
we're streaming it from YouTube, but we're all Zoom
In
have a
together.
Zoom
Right.
call running at the same time. So we're being able to see each other doing our workout and motivate each other.
That's so cool.
So you just have to
Love that.
find creative
It's
ways
true.
in this challenging time.
Yeah, to
And
adjust.
it's a way for us to keep in contact because at least as friends, we still get to talk, we still get to see each other, and we're doing the workout, and then at the end we joke around and everything. So it's still a way to keep those bonds that we had formed from pre-corona, that you won't lose them during this period.
Definitely. Keep those connections flowing. It's just
Yes.
about adjusting with life. But most of all, I love the fact that you're going to do what you do, your profession as a lawyer, but most importantly, you are going to stay true to Jermaine at the core, and you're not defined by that. You are Jermaine as a whole and everything that comes with it. So, yeah,
Yes.
continue to be Jermaine Reed
Thank you very much.
and not just the lawyer. Love it. Thank you for sharing. Really, really appreciate it. Really nice.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being on your show.
Good. And we'll touch base.
Yes. Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
Have a great
Okay.
day.
Okay. Same to you.
So, coming up is our segment of meditation and mindfulness, where we get that bit closer to ourselves and get connected. So, ensure you're comfortable to press pause on everything that's going on in our lives and to block out any distractions, any stress, any negative vibe, any pressured thoughts, to just be still and be conscious of this very present moment, this space that we're in, and take control of our space and our place in this world. Allowing ourselves to breathe life, breathe energy into our bodies. To think about where we are focusing our energy, whether we should be conserving our energy or spending more time on ourselves, inside ourselves, and connecting to ourselves. We use this time to really give ourselves the quality time to understand everything that's going on inside. Allow our body to speak to us. Allow ourselves to speak to our inner soul. Meditation is so good for allowing us to just stay balanced, stay focused, allowing us to respond to life in a still and poised approach. Easing the stress and tension of everyday life, feeling more in control and connected to ourselves, our decisions, our thoughts, our feelings. Meditation is a safe, comfortable, and peaceful place we can take ourselves at any time, whatever we're doing, wherever we are. Whether it's for 5 minutes or 15, 1 hour or 2. We just create that space and allow. Meditation is for everyone. Meditation is wonderful. Meditation feels good. And meditation just allows us to breathe. So while we're in this space, let's breathe and focus on our breath as it enters our body and energizes us. And as we hold for 2, connecting with that energy and release. Releasing any tension and pressure and enabling us to get connected again to our bodies and more in control of our lives. So let's breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. And with every breath that we take, we relax that bit deeper, staying connected, staying present. And even though our thoughts may wander and may drift, we become conscious and aware of our thoughts, and we correct them to positive thoughts. And then we focus back on our breath that enters our body, circulates, and is released. So as you continue to take deep breaths and hold and release, just enjoy this moment of meditation and being mindful about your body, your mind, your spirit. Appreciating this quality time for yourself. appreciating the ability to connect to yourself, to understand yourself, and to give thanks for everything that you are, everything that you do, every single day. Still taking deep breaths and just being still. Not thinking about anything other than being here, right now, and what you can do in this very present moment. Taking control of the now, which is being still. Focusing on positive thoughts, relaxing, breathing, connecting, listening to your body, listening to your spirit, and seeing if there's anything that you need to pay attention to correct, and give gratitude for the health that you have, for the life that you have, and everything that you can do with that. Continue to breathe, continue to relax, and just be soothed by the sounds of the music. Be soothed by the breaths that you take. Stay in this still, quiet, peaceful environment. Become to love this space, your energy zone, a space that's always available to you, always welcoming, a safe space where you can just be you. You can connect and be free. Breathe in and breathe out, and just be still. Continue to breathe, staying focused, enjoying this space all for yourself. This is a quality time that your spirit has yearned for. This is a time that you deserve and that you need. A time to nurture your spirit, to monitor your thoughts, and to allow yourself to be still, be you, and be free. Relax your body from head to toe, conscious of any tension, any pressure, any pain, and just using your mind to highlight that area. Place your hand on that area, sending energy and love and healing. And as you breathe more life into that area, slowly feel the tension releasing from your body. With every breath you take in and breathe out, and continue to send yourself waves of love, healing, and light as your energy is focused on your body, as you're connected and more conscious about the sensations and your senses, and ensuring everything is in working order. Take a deep breath in and hold and release. And as you become to feel more connected, more balanced, in control, and ready to live life with peace, with clarity, you bring your awareness back to your body and you hold that space and energy, and you carry this with you everywhere you go. Remembering to stay balanced and more conscious of your breath. As you slowly bring your awareness back to your surroundings, your environment, the space that you're in, feeling energized, feeling alive, bringing your eyes and your awareness back to the space. Remembering the greatness of meditation and how it makes you feel. I encourage you to do this as often as you can, during your day, during your week. Let this become a habit, to then become a lifestyle, so you can stay balanced and in control of you. So remember the power of meditation, and remember this is all for you. Stay healthy and stay well.